So today's mantra is going to be one that I feel strongly you would benefit from writing it on a sticky note, maybe writing it on several sticky notes and sticking them around your house in places that you'll see them throughout the day. It can be a visual reminder, kind of like a visual trigger for you to set today's mantra into motion. It is going to be one that you can, again, set into motion several times every day. You'll see what I mean. Make sure that you jump in and listen to today's Monday mantra. Well, hey there. I am Jennifer Roskamp, a certified life coach and homeschool mom of 9 who is passionate about helping women just like you embrace the here and now while also being focused on creating the life you actually want. In reality, it's not about thinking life will get so much better or so much easier when you fill in the blank. Let's work on creating a life you love now. So let's dive in and get started on redefining Supermom to be someone who is present, intentional, and content rather than perfect in our homes, in our lives, and in our own skin. Let's get started. This is the Intentional Mom Podcast. Okay, so today's mantra is this. What if this moment was the turning point for you? So, I want to stress something here first, and then we'll get into the mantra. So, what I want to stress is the this moment part. You don't need a new day, a new week, or some other sort of fresh start. So often we think we need this big, grand starting point in order to draw our line in the sand and start. We think things like, I'll start fresh tomorrow, or I'll start this next week. Before I even explain what this mantra is, first commit to starting now, in this moment. You're ready, you're here, just commit. Okay, back to this mantra. What if this moment was the turning point for you? What does this even mean? Well, you get to decide what this means. Here's what I think it means. Doing something different. It means turning away from the old thing that I was doing or that I was thinking. To me, this means being intentional, stepping into who and what I want to be in this moment, and then pushing through that voice in my head that makes all the excuses. You know that voice. It's the one that really, if you can get good at controlling that voice, it can change the trajectory for you because it can change what's possible. I've done the 75 Hard Challenge 3 different times. In fact, I just completed it 3 days ago for the 3rd time. And learning how to control that voice, I think, is one of the biggest outcomes that I have experienced from doing that challenge. And it started the first time I did the challenge on day 1. You start learning to control that voice. You start learning, first of all, you start learning to identify that voice. And then as the days go by, if you haven't looked up the 75 Hard Challenge, by the way, you should. I'm not telling you should do it. I'm not paid to talk about it. It's just something that's relevant here for what we're talking about. But you need to learn how to control that voice that makes the excuses, because that's the voice that's always the loudest. And usually that voice presents you with arguments that sound very logical. And a lot of times that voice gives you the arguments that are actually true. That voice might say things like, oh, that's going to take you so long, or, oh, that task is so gross or boring or mundane, or no one appreciates you, or whatever it tells you. And the next thing you know, you go from having been ready to take action to listening to that voice, and now you're just done. You're over it. Whatever it is you were going to do, you're now not going to do because that voice got in your head and you were listening to it and it turned you all around. But to me, this mantra means being intentional and pushing through that voice, because you're always going to have to push through that voice. That voice will always be there. You just decide whether or not you're going to listen to it. Okay, so what if this moment was the turning point for you? All right, you might be saying, yes, tell me about this, but where do I start? What do I focus on? Here are a few ideas on where to start. Think about what feels off limits. What feels not available to you? Ask yourself that question. What feels not available to me? What do you tell yourself you're not capable of? That might be something to start with. Think about what scares you. Maybe in this moment, you can stop avoiding something that scares you and start taking action instead in this moment. You can also think about what keeps nagging at you. We all have those things, right? A lot of times they're those tasks or projects that we have to do that we just really don't want to do. That might help you choose your turning point for right now. So choose your one thing using those prompts or something else as often as you have a start now moment throughout your day. And if you're committed to this mantra and really using it, you'll find yourself starting now all throughout your day. Don't wait. Just turn away from whatever it is. Maybe you're scrolling on Instagram. Maybe you're telling yourself all the ways you suck. Maybe you're avoiding doing something you know you really need to do and make this moment your turning point. As I suggested in the intro, put turning point on a sticky note, many sticky notes, and put them places you'll see it. And when you see it, ask, what do I need to do? What do I want to do? What have I been avoiding? And choose one of those answers. Choose the answer to one of those questions and start. Because this moment can be that turning point for you. So that's what I had for you today. Make it a turning point sort of day. Make it a turning point sort of week. And get out there and make it an intentional week. We'll talk again soon.